Now we look at how to clean reflections from cutlery. This is super ugly and super distracting. So this was a restaurant photo shoot and I did not have control over the ugly ceiling lights. We had to have the lights on, otherwise we wouldn't have seen anything. I was shooting this with flash, so I unfortunately, because I couldn't switch off the lights in the restaurant, I got this super ugly glare and reflection on my cutlery. However, I did not panic because I knew I could easily fix this in Lightroom. So let's see how we're gonna do it. To clean something like that, we need to use something called masking, and we will find masks in this by clicking this icon here, masking. So masking is a super powerful tool. There are many types of masks, and this is basically Photoshop stuff, but in Lightroom. So it's a lot quicker in Lightroom, and it's a lot more intuitive in Lightroom. You do not have to learn about masking in Photoshop. You can just start by using Lightroom. Obviously, Photoshop is a lot more powerful. It will allow you to do a lot more with your masking. However, for stuff like this, you don't need Photoshop. You can easily do this in Lightroom. So we start by clicking on our masking tool here, and then we select brush. Now this one, it's a brush as advertised. So what we're going to do is we are going to create, drag and draw a mask on top of our cutlery. I'm just gonna zoom in, and you just do it by clicking, literally, and Lightroom will draw a mask for you. Now, in order to make it easier for you to design and draw the mask and not make it go like all the way like out of the shape, what you can do, super tip, help yourself by selecting auto mask. Tick this, and the difference is mainly if you with the auto mask, you can just go like easily like that, and Lightroom will understand where the edges of the subject are, and it will not mask outside of those edges. If you don't have auto mask on, then you just do that and it will just draw everywhere. So to make it easier for yourself, click on auto mask. And this is the panel where you can adjust the features of the brush, something like the size, feather, so as we saw in the spot removal, how soft or sharp the edges of the brush are. Flow and density, it's the same thing as opacity, so how thick that mask is going to be, how much is it going to cover our subject. So I'm just gonna speed up this, but basically what you need to do is just draw the mask on your whole subject. It's gonna take maybe like a couple of minutes. I'm pretty much done. I just want to show you something. If by mistake you go outside of the edges, the only thing you need to do is press Option on your keyboard, and that's how you can get rid of something like, you know, the mistakes that you made. So I am pretty much done here. I'm just like fine-tuning the mask, but this should be good enough for tutorial purposes. So let's see what's next. I'm gonna zoom out just so we can see the whole of the image a little bit better. Here we go. Now I am going to press O on my keyboard to show or hide the red overlay. That's very helpful when you're drawing the mask to just see where you've drawn the mask. But now I'm gonna need to hide it so I can see what adjustments I am going to make on the cutlery to remove the glare. So first things first, this reflection is orange and it's casting like an orange yellow color on my cutlery, which is super ugly. So first thing I'm gonna do is I am going to desaturate that, and I am going down into the adjustment panel for the mask and I am going to desaturate that. So already it's looking a lot better from this to that. However, now it's looking a little bit too cool, so I am also going to adjust the white balance and turn it into, like, give it a little bit of warmth to make it match the mood and the scene of the rest of my photo. Then the highlights are quite prominent, but it's already looking a lot better. So in order to smooth it out, what you want to work on is clarity. You want to reduce the clarity to give it that matte look. And also you want to reduce the texture a little bit, again, to smooth it out, make it all smooth and give it that matte look. Then another thing you want to do is you want to play with the contrast a little bit, again, just to try and make that gradient as smooth as possible. So already you can see that's the before and the after is a lot better. And personally, I'm pretty happy with the overall look of this cutlery right now. However, there's still some stuff that we want to do here. I'm not happy yet. So we are going to go back to our spot removal tool that we've just looked at earlier. I'm going to zoom in more just to see. And with the spot removal, I'm just gonna give it the final touches. So for example, this line, it's very easy to just clean up with the spot removal. You just click, hold, drag, and then adjust the source, because Lightroom didn't quite understand where he needed to source the pixels. But there we go. So that's pretty much it. And now it's going to clean it. I don't really want to get rid of these. Like, you could easily do that source there and same clean that guy. Personally, I don't want to do that because it's gonna make it look fake. So you do still want to have some kind of highlights on your cutlery, because even matte cutlery does do this. It's just because it emphasizes the shape of the knife. Obviously, this part is thicker than the blade of the knife. So if you completely remove all of the highlights and the shadows, then the knife completely loses shape and it's going to look mega fake. So you still want to keep it realistic, but already look at the before and the after. It's like light years ahead. This was ugly and distracting, and this one is nice and soft and smooth with, obviously you can work more on this, but for tutorial purposes, I just wanted to show you the basic technique. And ta-da! This is how you clean glare from cutlery and from anything else, really.